Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 561 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob, Commander Takamalda, and I'm joined today in pretend low Earth orbit by two of the greatest geeks you're ever going to meet, who are going to pretend to talk about stuff for the better part of a half hour. I have Chris DeBona.
Hello.
Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, it has been a large number of days since we've spoken.
It has been.
There it is. Mine was red, though, and only had 2 sticks.
I can probably find a red one if it's important to you. So what we were talking about, again, is how Tenet is not a good movie. And
Sure.
the things that are better than Tenet. And Roseboom mentioned this. So
The Rings game.
yeah, you go push, 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 push with water. And you try to get the rings onto those little pink palaces.
And then inevitably the car hits a bump and all the rings fall off and you have to start all over again.
Dad, why can't you drive better?
It's a game about life, really.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's nothing to learn from Tenet, but there's a lot to learn from that ring game. It teaches you frustration, endless rage.
No. Persistence in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
That's what it teaches you.
That's true.
However you want to describe it. It teaches you that.
And what did you learn from Tenet?
That I'm never going to get that 2.5 hours back, no matter what they promise of inverted time.
That's fair.
It taught me what happens when you make a bunch of successful movies, what they'll allow you to do.
Right?
I take that back. It taught me 2 things. 1, Robert Pattinson is probably one of the best actors of our generation. 2, Denzel Washington's kid has a long way to go before he's Denzel Washington.
Is that Denzel Washington's kid?
That's Denzel Washington's kid.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See? You learned something today.
I did. I learned something today. And I thought he did a really good job. I thought he was really charismatic, but
I thought he was good.
But
I thought he wasn't given a lot to work with.
The script is thin.
Yeah.
Not a character piece. All right. Let's see. I'm clipping.
Let's continue.
All right. We've got at the top of the we got the pharmacist that was accused of ruining COVID vaccines.
This guy, I'm glad he's going. He's going before the court, so that's good. You know.
Yeah.
What a prick. You know.
What's weird to me, and we have a friend who falls into this bucket too, but our friend is a nurse, and like I don't understand how you get through being a pharmacist. Like you get like there's at least some training there, right? But and the same thing for nurse. Yeah. There's some training for nurses, and I don't see
quite a bit.
Right. But I don't see how you get through that and then fundamentally don't really understand this stuff.
It's just an example of, like being smart in one way doesn't make you smart in every way.
Or make you not insane.
Or make you immune to conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, that's
what
probably the
the
big
issue is with him here. This was all due to conspiracy theory stuff. And he has evidently admitted that he believes in a lot of different, very popular conspiracy theories. They didn't exactly list which one, but evidently he believed these vaccines would fundamentally change your DNA. So he ruined them so that he could save people.
Yeah, that's a I don't know. Like this is like I can't even wrap my brain around this because like I went to school for 4 years for computer science, and I see things every now and then in the universe of computer science. Let's say quantum computing or machine learning stuff. And some of that stuff is really far beyond where I was in college, right? Like this was, I remember in college, my graphics professor telling me, and I always liked this story, he says, if you ever want to do ray tracing in real time, first of all, what you have to do is get like 1,000 computers and arrange them in a grid, like a 100 by 100 grid of computers, and put a red, green, and blue light bulb on top of each computer and take pictures of it from an airplane. And I always remember, like, because ray tracing in 1993 was, it was checkered checkerboards and spheres, and Toy Story was even like a thing that was kind of science fiction then. And now, like the power that's in an RTX 3080 card, it makes me think that a lot of the things that I learned in college were kind of bullshit. But at no point do I suddenly somehow believe, well, we've got another one on this list right now about 5G. We've got the story about the guy who had the 5G chip that's actually a guitar effects processor.
Yeah, I would love to. Let's scroll down to that.
Let's.
That's that. Because when I saw the thing, I was like, that's an audio thing.
Yeah.
And then and then you actually see bass, treble, 5G frequency. I'm like, screw you, dude.
Yeah. But like these are things where, like, if you like, okay, if you know a circuit diagram, and I know just enough circuit diagrams from like watching people resolder SID chips into their Commodore 64 or some crap. I know enough to know that this ain't gonna affect COVID 5G or COVID transmission in the same way as I know that a vaccine will not alter my DNA. And I only have like a maybe what this ultimately is a better argument for a good liberal arts education, because I have enough of a liberal arts education to know that both of these things are BS.
Right,
Well,
but I mean his education should have protected him from this, right? It's not
he
like
had to take organic chemistry,
right?
Right. It's like
I'm frustrated by all of this.
From a liberal teacher in a liberal institution, so they're just going to lie to you. And I'm like,
it's true.
I don't know. The story I heard about this COVID-19 metal zone thing is that it was going around Italy, so they didn't necessarily understand the English. But I'm like, that's still pretty iffy, It's like,
well, it is amazing how much stuff like this goes around. Last year, they had a deal where a company was selling you like some sort of metal sticker you could put on your catalytic converter, and that was supposed to increase the horsepower of your car.
Yeah.
And I remember
the magnetizing stuff. We're going to magnetize your fuel. Yeah.
I watched tons of videos of people, hooking their cars up to diagnostic dynos to show you how well the metal sticker worked on their exhaust system. It's just crazy,
Yeah.
I guess I feel there's a difference between that guy who's just trying to scam you. He's no different than that minister guy who wants you to buy his bucket of Bibles. Like, he just wants to steal your money.
Bucket of Bibles.
And this is the pathway. But
it's sure, but that one in particular had a lot of evangelicals, so to speak, who were, go and argue the science of it. And,
well, so there's a long history in usually evangelical churches where they'll have like a lot of MLM meetings in the building. They'll have Thomas Kincaid, so the painter, the terrible painter.
You shut up. I like Thomas Kincaid.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. So Thomas Kincaid came out of Placerville, actually. So that picture that he sort of got famous for, with the well in the middle of the street with the shops and the Christmas trees and all that crap, that's actually downtown Placerville, where actually they used to hang people for jumping claims. But we won't go there.
Sure.
And so what he would do is he would then make posters, and then he would have like an army of art students like dap them with little paint, right? And then they would sell this through church organizations, and he presented himself as this super Christian fella. Anyways, he died of an overdose after divorcing his wife and being with like 3 or 4 gals at the same time. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that there is a long history of people saying, wow, you seem vulnerable to evangelical misinformation, and they go after these people with a verve. They're like, I can make money off these idiots. And it's kind of disgusting, frankly.
Well, without getting too, my opinions on most organized religion thing, but I do tend to think that a lot of the things that I was taught as a child essentially amount to installing a backdoor into the operating system of your brain. And that backdoor, once installed, like we've learned from things like encryption keys and the secret passwords on your Cisco routers or whatever, it turns out that when you have that backdoor installed, it's really hard to not get other things lodged into that back door.
Like Thomas Kincaid.
Sure. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a little bit of pastel color. Come on.
Christopher Nolan movies.
That's right. Or Christopher Nolan movies. I still think Tenet is clever.
I know it's well executed.
I thought it was,
honestly, I laughed out loud during the big fight scene there at the end when people are like running backwards.
Oh, it's so crazy.
I was like, wow, that's really cool.
There's so many neat things there, like when they are going through explosions that haven't happened yet and stuff. I don't know, it's nuts.
Yeah. I sat for 2.5 hours of it.
You don't want to listen to me talk for 2.5 more? Rob, you want to go out to eat at an ice shanty?
Not in particular, but I mean, it's nice that they're there, and it shows you how nice a shanty can be. Look at that, right? Who wouldn't like this?
I forwarded this to my I forwarded this to my daughter, and she's like, that's still inside, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rob, did you ice fish a lot as a kid?
I did.
Yeah. Did you have anything nice, or did you just bare ice it?
Oh no, we had nothing nice. We were bucket and auger.
Yeah.
We didn't even have like an ice skimmer. We just used a gloved hand.
Oh.
But then, wait, what does an ice skimmer do?
Well, as you ice fish, the hole slowly fills back up of ice, Chris.
What?
So you have to skim the ice out of the hole. Otherwise, your line will get stuck or it'll knock the fish off.
And as the kid, that's your job.
Wow, that's kind of cool. Of course, it makes perfect sense, but yeah, wow.
But I had a couple different friends who had some nice shanties, so I spent some quality time in some pretty nice shanties.
We never had a nice shanty. My dad had a tent, but I don't recall ever actually sitting in the tent. But also, I didn't go ice fishing that often with my dad. I definitely did it, but not very often. My main ice fishing thing is the fact that my dad had a giant friggin' auger, and it was like in my basement for like my entire childhood. I basically remember this giant auger always being in my basement. And it's something that if you needed to move some furniture or something, you're going to need to move the giant auger. It's in your way.
Yeah.
My question is
the first time I used
Go ahead.
The first time I used an electric auger, I felt like I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. Why don't we get one of these?
This is how kings live.
Yes.
Well, it's basically a snow cone machine upside down, right?
Yeah, but there's no Snoopy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can squirt that, cherry flavored syrup, but
it really just looks like a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
It really attract fish. Ice fishing now is totally different, though.
Really,
there's fish finders and flashers involved now, and it's all crazy.
If I had, maybe I should talk to Bowser or somebody, because we gotta know somebody that's got an auger. But it might actually be fun to try to ice fish in my lake behind my house, because there's bass in there. I don't know.
I have a hand auger. Yeah, if you want to,
what's
really
an ice flasher?
It's a light that you put down into the hole and it flashes and attracts fish.
Okay, it's a little unfair, but okay.
Ambalu wants to know if there are underwater drones. I hadn't even thought about that, but there should be.
There are. Oh, yeah. I almost got one for the boat.
Oh!
It had a range of 300 feet.
Yeah, they're tethered usually, right?
Yeah, they're tethered. Yeah.
They better be.
You find all the bodies in the lake that old man, what's his name?
Butter D.
Butter D. Yeah.
Old man Butter D.
Butter D.
I keep meaning to bring my drone out on the boat, but that never worked out. All right. Well, we can talk about Knight Rider, or we can talk about the McTrain.
I think we should talk about the McTrain because that was something you specifically called out.
I am excited to talk about the McTrain. I want to know what it's about.
So I read the article. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, so the year was earlier.
1994.
Yeah, it was like, I don't think it was quite. Yeah, brief period of Germany during the 1990s. A train car was turned into a McDonald's, and they cut this whole deal where they would serve regular McDonald's food, but they would also sell like currywurst and spaghetti, which sounds absolutely disgusting, but or spaghetti with currywurst. Why not? Right?
Oh,
and
worse.
Gross. Even worse. Ha!
Oh, I see what you did with that. No.
Yeah.
Stop.
Anyway, so they basically arranged to have a train car that it consumed 96 kilowatts, so it consumed a huge amount of energy to keep everything frying. And they made McDonald's. And there were all kinds of logistical problems because they would get refilled by the local McDonald's along the train line. They would get their food updated. That they drop off all the hash browns or whatever. And if someone didn't show up for a shift, they just couldn't run it. You know? Wow. And then people, if they didn't show up on the other side of the shift, people would not be able to go home, and they'd have to spend the night in like some German town.
Yeah, really, the logistics of everything, of trying to turn a train car into a franchised restaurant, was the most interesting part of the article. The part about people not showing up for a shift was just brutal, because if you're late, the train can't wait for you. So
you missed your train.
Right. So you're just, I assume if you're an employee there, you're just hoping to God you're probably screaming with delight when you see your replacement show up, because otherwise,
you're boned. You're not getting home to your kids. I would also point out, looking at this picture, which I'm projecting, doesn't the wood grain on these things look like hash browns?
It does.
I wonder if that was like intentional.
I think it kind of looks like pizza.
It's kind of pizza-y, yeah.
It doesn't look like McDonald's.
That would be a Pizza Hut car, Mr. Malda. I'm talking about McDonald's cars.
Also, they had to pay the employees to go home because, unlike unlike a flight attendant, where eventually you just make a circuit and you go back to wherever, you'd finish a shift, and if it was a long run, they would have to pay for you to get on another train to go back home.
Oh, that's the worst.
This ended up, and as Chris mentioned, it consumed way more electricity than any other of the cars. It was just a logistical nightmare for them, and it didn't really work. So
I thought it was really interesting that this car, I mean, I don't know if it consumed more energy than all the train for propelling the train down the tracks, but that was the implication of the article. It's like, so they have to, this thing is going to consume 96 kilowatts to keep all the fryers going and all the rest. And I'm like, well, wait a second. How much energy do they spend just turning the wheels on these things?
Apparently not that much.
Right? And it's like, it's amazing to think that, the energy that goes into making a hash brown,
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I do like their hash browns, just for the record. When I'm driving across country or whatever, it's like, so, this is important. I have to ask y'all this. So, wasn't there a time before COVID where they had decided to do Egg McMuffins all day?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a thing. Or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe they were just going to allow hamburgers in the morning.
No. It was Egg Muffins all day. Because I was getting them at like 8 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock at night while driving across
luxury.
Nevada. It was luxury, but since the drive to move, after 11, no Egg McMuffins. I felt like that crazy person who attacked the McDonald's lady. I was like, hey, I gotta get an Egg McMuffin and a hash brown. She's like, oh no, we don't do that after 11. I'm like, what?
Hey,
yeah, we don't. And I'm like, really?
That was a commercial.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right.
I'm sorry. I like, they make a chicken sandwich now that I'm okay with. But the problem is, in my household, chicken nugs are the single greatest foodstuff to be constructed by all of the universe, according to the tweens that make a fairly substantial percentage of my dining suggestions.
One of my favorite pieces of television ever in the history of television is I think it was Jamie Oliver's show, where he's trying to convince people not to eat fast food and to make things fresh. And he sits a whole bunch of children down, shows them the video of pink slime, the byproduct that is used to make chicken nuggets, and all the kids are gross. He's like, isn't that disgusting? Now who wants a chicken nugget now? And all the kids raise their hand.
They're like, yep.
It's chicken nuggets. I don't care
what
it looks like before you cook it. I know chicken nuggets are delicious.
It's true.
Here it is. Yeah, it's perfect.
He's like, look, this is disgusting.
I'm going to eat it anyway, because nugs are the best. My kids, man, we will literally go and buy them like the 20-piece nugget, and we'll buy like 2 boxes of those, and those kids will eat them all. It's disgusting.
I honestly find them so gross. Chicken nuggets, like the McDonald's ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not super into Jesus chicken. I mean, sorry, Chick-fil-A, but man, they know how to do a nugget. We just say.
I don't
Jesus
care for nugs. But I mean, I don't. One thing that in my house, I don't get to choose what I eat most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Hence your pallor.
So the other one that we had on the list was Knight Rider, and I wasn't sure. It was David's personal kit, and I wasn't exactly sure what that meant. I assume that means screen used, but oh wow, it's up to $975 now. It was only at like $400 when I posted the story.
That's it.
The Hoff will personally deliver the car to the new owner. There's no way.
Seriously?
That's got to be wrong. No, it's listed as the Hoff auction.
The Hoff will personally deliver the car to the new owner.
Wow.
Buyer's premium 21%. Live auctioneers, you keep doing you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not so interested in owning Kitt, but if they were selling Goliath, do you remember Goliath?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Airwolf.
The evil semi truck that is the predecessor of Kitt.
Doesn't he park inside of there?
No, that's the
Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen?
Dude, Google Turbo Teen.
Is that the superhero that turns into a car?
That's the kid that like transformed. Yeah. The Turbo Teen transformation sequence is horrifying. And he then goes to proceed to park inside of another car. I watched that show every Saturday, man. I loved it.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Is the other car also a person?
I always wondered that because then it becomes sexual. Because he's parking in the other car, right?
Yeah. Let me just tell you something. Don't scroll down too far in a Turbo Teen image search.
Is there something an equivalent to a furry, but for fans of automobiles?
I'm just not gonna. We can talk later. Oh man, this is not good. I'm uncomfortable.
Is this like how I had to fast forward through the butt scenes in the Name of the Rose very quickly? Butts! He's humping her. Butt. There are no butts in Karate Kid, at least.
Well, that's good. I have to watch that. That's all right.
Well, that was the last thing I think on our list for the day. Oh, did we talk about the man getting his own leg?
No, we didn't. It's gross.
It's super gross.
It's super gross. Where'd it go?
It's not as gross as toe drinks, but it is unsettling.
What just happened?
Toe drinks is just awesome, and the fact that I haven't had the opportunity to make or drink one is a real problem.
I mean, get chopping.
Yeah, I'm not going to donate a toe. I like my toes. I like them attached.
How do I miss things like this here?
It's because it's ordering it according to the magical Reddit algorithm. You need to order by new, but even that's a little fuzzy because there's some caching and.
Okay, so the first thing is here's the gross dude with his own leg. Well, that's not him. That's someone else.
That's just a casual leg fan.
That's just a casual leg fan.
Yeah.
He's not the hardcore guy.
A leg aficionado.
Gross.
I'm so confused.
Look, man, if I had to have an organ removed, I would be pissed because I know they're not going to let me keep it, and that would just bum me out.
That's a thing that is like, I don't know how he got this. Oh, he's in Toronto. Maybe that has.
Yeah, that explains it. It's Canada.
Canada rules.
Where that sort of thing's okay. You know.
They would not let me keep my gallbladder.
No.
I wanted to put dice in it.
When another friend had hers removed, I asked if I could have it, and they said no.
Why would they do such things to you?
It's not fair, man. It's just not fair.
The other thing we were supposed to talk about is Discovery Plus launched.
Oh, Discovery Plus.
Yeah, which makes it the most recent thing named after Plus.
Yeah.
Since Google Plus and Peacock Plus and Apple Plus, and
I assume the next round would just be, like TLC thumbs up or TLC some other emoji.
Yep.
And then it'll eventually be TBS, just a flashing light or a smell, when they finally invent smell-o-vision.
Well, we had, for a while, everything started with I. We had the iBooks and the iMacs, and then we had like the eBooks, and everything was E. So we had the internet, and then we had the education, and then, well, we've got like the trademark on black, right? And IBM is big blue. So it just seems like there's a lot of options.
I'm going to use my Xbox mask. It's new Xbox.
Did you get a new Xbox?
No, I don't have an Xbox. This is actually a Stadia controller. Actually, Stadia, the only people where you can reliably run Cyberpunk if you don't have a $3,000 PC. Yeah. Go figure.
I installed that game. I played it for 5 minutes and then had to take a break, and then heard so many people bitching that I didn't even bother playing through the rest of the starter mission because I just
it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, right? If you want to play the story of Grand Theft Auto, it's actually kind of similar.
I'm gonna totally do it. I'm just gonna enjoy.
Visually, it's remarkable.
Oh, it's extraordinary. But I kind of wanted to wait because I've been trying to get my hands on a 3080. Along with every single gamer alive. But I'm trying to get my hands on a 3080 because I just find the ray tracing mode to be blurry, and I'm hoping that just getting a little bit of extra, like I'll be able to go up like one click on the performance settings, and then it'll not look blurry.
You have a 2080 Ti, right?
No, I have a 2070.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that should be good enough. I mean,
it's unpleasant to me. It does not appeal too much. Like, it's gorgeous, but it's blurry, and I don't know if maybe. Well, I have another problem too, which is worse, which is that these are bifocals, and if I don't position my head in the right position, then I get the wrong focus on my monitors.
I completely understand. These are the first bifocals I've ever owned, and I'm never going to buy another pair.
Yeah, I hate them.
I'll just take off my glasses to read because of that exact problem. I constantly am shifting my head either up or down so I can see things. It just sucks.
Christopher says that he describes Cyberpunk as being not a good gameplay, but more of a bad interactive movie. So if you want to play Phantasmagoria or The Seventh Guest in 2020, maybe that's our plan.
The graphics were remarkable, but he's not. They're not wrong. Whoever he or she, whatever, they're absolutely not wrong. And also, so I've been playing Observation, as Rob has had to hear me talk about. It's literally an interactive novel. It's like if you were playing the movie Arrival, but it's really good.
You're talking about Observation now.
Yeah. It's super fun. It's based on a space station. It's really it's a blast, and it's only $10. So it's like, this is totally worth it. This is actually the price of going to a movie. And I get twice the enjoyment. So
remember movies. I mean, I know you guys love Tenet.
Yeah. In retrospect, Tenet still not good. But yeah.
All right, folks. Let's say goodbye and do our normal adulty things for the day.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Rob.
Goodbye. I'm gonna go do adult things.
Goodbye, Chris.
I'm gonna do super adult things.
This has been episode 561 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and we will see you tomorrow night for the Karate Kid. Chris is gonna watch it this time, he promised.